Hey, good morning. Guess what? We're up in the 5 o'clock. We're on live 5 a.m. It's 5 a.m. Master Scrum Show. Hope you're doing well. It's a Thursday, and it is 5:53 a.m. And this is our 517th episode of the 5 a.m. Master Scrum Show. And I am Greg Messer, Scrum Master and Agile Coach, here to talk with you about Scrum and Agile in a practical and tactical way, so that we bring value to the customer, get home at a decent hour, not working crazy hours, and have a little fun. Go hang out with your family and friends, and just have some fun. Learn together, experience together, share some thoughts. Seen on LinkedIn, people email me, coaching sessions, whatever is out there. Pet peeves of mine sometimes. But it is in the 5 a.m. hour, which is good. I told you we were getting back to where we were. I need the time. Except now with the adopted dogs, they just want to go out and do, so nice having the dogs here. But they're fun. Balance, you get good bet, right? It's like, some people are really good at what they do, and some people aren't. Anyway, but I got two things to talk about today. I want to talk about tech session drudgery. So I want to talk about that. And then I want to talk about PI planning spies and how I used to spy on people. So tech session drudge. So these are the kind of things you look at as a Scrum Master and Agile Coach when you're coming into an organization. Both these topics are kind of like that. Are people in the tech sessions? There's always a tech session where they all meet and talk about the issues, the stories, what's going on. Maybe a tech lead, who knows what's going on. Trust me, there's always tech sessions. Even if you're a Scrum Master, they're having sessions without you. But then they all complain about there's too many meetings. That's because you're in these damn sessions with people and you're not getting value out of it. So my question is the work shared among team members so they all play a role in success, or is it 7 individual contributors? Right? Is what I see in a lot of these groups, and because they pull stuff in from the old waterfall days, where they assign someone a story, and that person works a story. And my question is, so then they would have these tech sessions where they're all in a room talking about the stories and what's going on. I mean, they would do everything themselves, right? They wouldn't share any of the work related to the stories. So you're in the room, 7 other people, 7 other developers, and you're talking about 7 different things. Well, no one else gives a crap about the other 6 things because you only worry about your one, because you really have no idea what about 7, and you're not going to pay attention to it. And there's really no need to, because you're not doing anything you're supposed to be doing. And this is where that gets to be drudgery. It's what a waste. What a waste to having a meeting with 7 different people working on 7 different things. They have no combined interest. There's no similar interest in what's going on. There may be an ancillary interest, but would be good to kind of know what the other person's doing or what kind of issues they are having and stuff like that. Is that built-in quality, right? Or is it a story? When you have a story, take a story, you break it up with the tech people and the testers, and they're all in the same group. And you go over how you might solve the problem, and you have the multiple developers helping out, give some ideas. Here's what I'm proposing to solve the problem. Anybody have any pointers, or even before that, or anybody have any pointers on how I might solve the problem before I get there? And don't do the same problems all the time. That's where you get tech drudgery. It gets boring. And no one wants to go to those meetings, and they waste their time, and they don't get as much done, and they're half productive, and then you don't get your value to your customer. This is the way it is, right? So, meeting beforehand, everybody kind of contributed how they might solve the problem, not just some lead telling everybody what to do. Splitting up the code review part. So who's going to review it? Identify who those code review people are early in the process, maybe, so that they know. So there's a partner, Pair programming is another way, just like the code review. Pair programming, now you got two people working on the same thing. There's two people of interest out of the 7, right? Testing, having the test, who's going to do the testing? Who's going to write the unit test? There's all kinds of little things you can do to share the work in that activity, doing a review and process, before it goes into final testing. Does this look like it's functional? Did I do what I think I did to meet the requirement? Have someone write some automated unit testing to go along with the story. You can have 4 people working on the same code base without touching the same code base, right? People don't get that, right? You can have someone write some unit testing that can run. Someone can write some integration testing that could run. Somebody can write the code, because you don't need to be in the code to write the unit testing of the code. You just need to communicate what's coming out of the code and how the code is getting processed. And a unit test just looks at it. So there's lots of stuff out there that you can do to eliminate that waste and eliminate that drudgery of those tech sessions where people are all different areas are working. And then you make sure you mix up the work, right? One of the other bottom line is mixing up the work so they're not all doing the same thing all the time. And that's all they do, because that's going to bore the crap out of them really fast. So it's just one thing, come ideas about solving that tech drudgery, and that's what Scrum Masters are supposed to do. It's what managers are supposed to do, but I think they lost that sight sometimes. All right. I'm taking my SPC class, which I talked about it before. But here's something I would do. PI planning. There goes my phone. Hey, it's 6 o'clock. Not up, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Coast Standard Time. When I would come to new companies and they do PI planning, or they're safe, right? I would go attend the other PI sessions. A lot of times I would just go sit and attend and see what they do, just to get an idea, walk around the room, see how things are going, watch the managers and even my own PI planning sessions when I would coach those, because we had RTEs. I had like 8 teams. Well, I actually had more at some point in time. They had giant sessions because we had 2 different organizations that would cut into each other's work. I would watch the managers and business people. Do they leave their tables? Do they walk around? Do they leave the event? Even worse, right? So I just observe a lot of times during PI planning, help people out, help them get some stuff. And it doesn't take that long to do that. Sometimes it does. And solve problems, or they can't find something or need help visualizing something, and help them visualize it. But my big thing was interaction. I'd walk around from board to board in the rooms and see how their boards were developed, how their flow was, and ask them how it was going. See if they were doing different things, whether they're looking at loads and capacities and stories and dependencies, and read their cards. A lot of places, they don't even read the freaking cards. So I would do it, right? And I would comment and ask them how their boards work. Getting the managers to pay attention to the dev teams and walk around the business people to the different boards in the room. Now, some places, all we have one PI planning is just one board. I've been in a place where there's like 8, 9 boards, 8, 9 different art trains going off at the same time, and each one's 4 teams. So that's what I would do. So I would spy on everybody's PI planning. I got to the point where people would invite me to other PI plannings because I'd come through, and I'd coach other groups and help with their PI planning and walk around from theirs and see how they were doing. You'd be amazed at the stuff you'll see. I think I talked about it, long 2019 when I first started this thing, how I got in one group where they were doing their planning, and the business was on one side and the dev team was on the other side, and never in between. I think I just said that quote, never in between shall they meet. It was, the optics of the room were amazing. So sometimes just spying on these planning events, see how the organization is running, tells you a lot of what's going on. Do they have, and one of the things, and I brought this up at the SPC class yesterday, you do this, you see the managers walk off. You see the managers not paying attention. You see the business people not there, not involved. And we'll talk about that as another point with that. Because I'll do some math. I'm going to do a session about PI planning session and some math just from my point of view, from a business value perspective. We'll do that in another session. If they aren't there, if they aren't getting involved as a coach, it's not necessarily a Scrum Master thing, but definitely a Scrum Master. As an RTE, because in SAFe, the RTE is kind of like the coach. The RTE is the one who's responsible for this stuff. I would have a new mission to find out why that manager, why that business person is walking off. What is not bringing value to them to stay in that room? And we'll talk about that in another session, how much investment is it in these PI planning sessions that people don't talk about. But that gives me an assignment as a coach to follow up between PI planning sessions to make it better, right? So then, what do I do with the PI planning session? Well, you watch the people and see what's not working, and you make a list, you spy on people, and then you figure out what you're going to coach them on between now and the next PI session. You look at all the faults and what's not working, where the flow is not working, and what's getting dropped off, and are they spending all day long doing PowerPoint slides and things like that, which you don't want. I actually, not to trash mine, but it was interesting. And I was so bad. I go, oh my God. There's one session about PI objectives, and we'll have a session. We'll talk about that another day. I'll talk about that. But are they doing PowerPoint slides all day? Is that their pressure? Well, I got to present. I got to present. I got to present. If they're obsessing about presenting and not about figuring things out, then you know there's a problem. Maybe you got to fix the way the system's set up so you don't have to present. Got to eliminate something. Anyway, that's what I had. How to eliminate some ideas of the tech session drudgery, because you have everybody their own individual contributors and not a team. So there's absolutely no interest to knowing what everything else is. So if you're sitting in a 2-hour meeting, especially during the early morning sessions with offshore and onshore, like here in the States, we work with India, and India works with us. And I know they want to go home and they're ready done to be the day. And then also PI planning spice. If you're in a big company and they're doing PI planning, go visit the other. You don't have to participate, but go check out, see what they're doing, see how they're doing PI planning. Oh, I can tell you another story. There was one. Yeah, I'll tell you another story another day. I'll write that in my book. I think I talked about it. I have to look at some of my old episodes. But anyway, have a great day. It is Thursday, and give us a thumbs up if you like the show. Ring the little bell. And happy scrumming. We got one more day left. Oh, I'm early. Depending where you are. If you're like in New Zealand somewhere, you only got one more day left. And if you're in India, you're towards the end of your day, right? You're like in the afternoon. Here in the States, we haven't started yet. California, not even awake. Unless they've been partying all night long. So have fun. Enjoy the day. Happy scrumming. Take care. Stay healthy. Drink lots of water. Take your vitamin D. And take care. Bye.